Unaware of a threat.
Hi, welcome to Game Dev Insiders episode 3. My name is Justin Boseman. We had a little bit of a false start in that my audio was off, so we're off to a great start. But yeah, I'm Justin. Santiago's in the middle here, and on the right we have Lucas. Lucas is the developer of Darfall, and I'll go ahead and play a quick preview of Darfall from their YouTube announcement trailer. Wait, now it's the same with Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and play.
Unaware of a threat that endangers their very existence, the people of Agamor have been living in peace for generations. That is, until now. Embrace your destiny and become the hero of the realm. Build your town and defenses to stave off the dangers of the night. Explore the land, find epic loot, and become the mightiest warrior in this expanding world. Beat back the darkness and save the people of Agamor.
Well, that was an epic trailer.
Yeah, it really was. That's very nice.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah. So let's get into it. So Darfall is an RTS city building game. Is that right?
Yes, correct. Also, by the way, thank you for having me.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it's a city building game, like similar to the Billions, but there are additional unique mechanics that, in combination, create this immersive experience. Because we added the hero aspect. So you build your city, you prepare defenses, you have a day and night cycle. And during the night, undead invasions start attacking your city, and you have to prepare. So you have a hero, and with hero you level up. You venture into the world, which is procedurally generated. You kill the enemies, collect the loot like in Diablo, and you make the hero stronger. You get the resources back to your city, do upgrades, do crafting, build stuff. And yeah, this is basically the core loop that is happening in Darfall. Yeah, and yeah, the hero aspect is a very, very important part because of the abilities, upgrades, epic legendary items, and all this stuff. And we will of course show it this in a few minutes.
Yeah, this is very cool.
Mm-hmm. So the main focus is city building and prepare the defenses, but I wouldn't say it's a second point, but it's these are two pillars is the hero. So imagine you have a Diablo character, you build a city, but you can also control your own units, right? So I think we have a very good mix and balance between these two points, and players from both genres I think they can find a perfect satisfaction from these mechanics.
Right. Okay. So you said you can take control of the units as a player. Does it? So we're having you on because you're using behavior designer with Darfall, and does that mean that you can switch from this behavior tree logic to the users having control?
I will actually share my screen if I may, and start showing the stuff. Is this one? Okay. So, is everything working fine?
We see your Discord, oh no, we're seeing the live stream right now.
Okay. Second attempt. Screens, and yeah, I picked wrong. Okay, now.
Yeah, now we can see it.
Now we can see.
Nice. Yeah. So this is basically sandboxing for us developers, and if I select this little guy, so this is our hero. There is of course, a behavior tree component on this, and if I open it, it has basically all the logic a player unit can have.
Okay.
Right. So the enemies have a separate. We call them brains in here. So enemies have one brain, player has another brain. So these are like behavior trees,
Right.
and workers are a bit special. So I will kill this off. So like we are not switching anything. Like the hero has always his player brain, and he can. Yeah.
Well, so the player brain, what is the player brain doing then if the user has control over where the character moves?
So let us open this as big as we can.
Yeah.
So let's show an example, right?
Okay.
Let's go here. So this is one of the smaller, like not subtrees, but it's move order. If a position variable is valid, we move to position, and then we clear some targets because of the cleanup, right? And this is in a selector, so this has some priority compared to other trees. You can see there is a lot of them. So basically, if user clicks on a position, variable in the tree gets set, which is like vector tree, and this gets executed. Like one technical caveat what we are doing, like you can see the variables on the left side. We have all these orders. So like imagine you are attacking somebody. Your order is to attack some other object. But if I want to move, I have to clear all of these existing orders and set a move position, because like you then wouldn't know, should I attack or should I move, right? So there's a process very clear all the entire state and then just set it. But by clearing the state, I mean we just reset the variables. That's basically it. Yeah, so it's like a very simple example.
Right. Okay. So your behavior tree, in some sense, instead of kind of just using the world state to determine what it should do, it's reacting based off of the player clicking a mouse button in this case. So it kind of, in some sense, it's like a hybrid approach where your behavior tree is reacting based off of the player's input. And that,
exactly.
Yeah,
but yes. But it's also a combination, because like if an enemy is going around me, I want my unit to attack.
Right.
So there are these, we just call them services. For example, update nearby enemy. So this service here is like ticking in an interval, like every 1 second. And it's querying from our system, like get me all enemies in 10-meter radius. And this basically fills a variable hill, which is here, which is like, for example, shared nearby enemy. And if we go, this is order. And one of the last, like, basically orders or behavior is to attack nearby enemies. So this is the lowest priority, because the highest priority is user giving order. Because if I want my player to move somewhere, I don't want him to like move for a second and then go somewhere else, right? So this is basically reacting on this. Yeah. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a really neat approach. Normally when I see these behavior trees, it's completely autonomous in some sense, and that it doesn't necessarily matter what the user input is, since it's completely for the NPCs rather than for your player controller.
But of course, when now I open an enemy brain, this has no user input.
Okay, so now this is kind of
now
standard.
This is the pure AI. Yes. So these are the like undeads invading you, like necromancer firing bolts and demons and like whatnot, even the deer. Everybody has this brain, and basically again this is running these services where it's updating the game state, querying like objects nearby, and based on this we run the order, these behaviors in a sequence based on the priority we want to set, right?
Right.
Yeah, so this is like the gist of the AI. And
Right.
of course, there are a lot of keys here.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of parameters like can the AI wander, can it self-heal, like has it leash? So leash means that you don't want players to aggro and like pull mobs to your base where you can kill it. So the AI will like wander 20 meters and then realize I'm too far from my spawn point, so the leash will like tell it run back, like ignore everything, run back, right?
Okay.
Yes, and we can like set this from outside.
Right. So you kind of got into my next question, but do you use the same behavior tree for all your different types of enemies then?
Yes.
And then how do you add variation to the different types of enemies? It's through it's through these shared variables, like whether or not the agent can wander, for example, or something like that, or is it, or do you do something else?
Yes. So when I first started using Behavior Designer, of course, I didn't have a lot of experience, and what I did was create like 10 types of enemy AI, right?
Yeah.
Like one for I don't know hound, another is firing arrows, another is doing something else.
Right.
And like after 1 or 2 years, this started to be a huge pain. And we had like serious issues with this, because if I wanted to add something new, for example, be able to like order enemy ARs or something, I have to do it like on 10 places, right? So then I just decided to merge it into one enemy AI, and it's the best decision we made. It's amazing. Yeah. But like we of course didn't want to mix enemy and player, because like these are so different that it's not worth it. Yes, and regarding how do we set these parameters, so basically in Darfall Unity projects we use a lot of scriptable objects. We have scriptable object for everything, and we have here something called like a brain setups, right? Where, for example, an enemy undead always has the enemy brain, but how do you tell it if it has a leash, if it can wander? So we can reuse these brain setups. For example, this is for invaders. So this guy will always invade a player keep, right? So these are predefined basically variables that we set to these behavior trees from outside. And then if we select the enemy, this basically sets these variables in a tree. Like there is no magic, we just set it, and this is what decides how the unit behaves, and we can of course change it dynamically.
And then like to determine like, oh, this agent or this type of enemy can shoot from X distance away versus this enemy can shoot from Y distance away. That's another script that's set in the scriptable object then, and then the behavior tree just reads that variable.
Yes. Let me. Let's pick a unit, for example. Somebody who can shoot, right? The skeleton mover. So here we have these blueprints. These are basically scriptable objects. This of course separate from the behavior designer.
Right.
But these blueprints have all of the properties a unit can have, and one of them is a stat. And for a skeleton bobber, we have an attack range stat, right? So this determines how the behavior tree acts and whether it should stop like 8 meters before a target and start shooting or not.
So so the behavior tree just reads this blueprint then in order to determine whatever the specific property for that unit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We do not have any unit specific variables or settings in the brains themselves.
Right.
Like everything feeds from these blueprints or from the world.
Right. And I know that this is going to be a question. This blueprint class, is this something that you guys created then?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not an asset on the asset store that allows you to do that type of stuff. Okay.
No.
That inspector looked pretty polished.
Yeah. Yes, we spent like a lot of time here, but of course it's using Odin Inspector.
Oh, it is. Okay. Okay.
The most popular one, so yeah, it's
Yeah.
why we have these tabs and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh yeah. Without Odin, you wouldn't have the tabs.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Without Odin, we wouldn't have Darfall actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
And behavior designer, of course, because
There we
not sure
go.
how we would do.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Not sure how we would do AI.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. I'll send you a check in the mail shortly.
As we agreed, of course.
Yeah. Right.
Of course, joking for our.
Right. So I noticed in your enemy behavior tree, actually, I guess in your player behavior tree as well, you're using the behavior tree reference test. Is that just to kind of for organizational purposes, or are you overriding the reference test to kind of introduce some dynamic behavior based off of the runtime?
What is this? This is attack target. Okay, so some of them we are reusing. For example, I think this is the attack target order, which is using a attack target sub behavior tree.
Okay.
And this is the attack move order. So move order is basically let me check. Okay. So this is like auto attacks nearby enemies and auto attack when you are like under fire. So yes, we are both reusing them, but also as you can see, setting data into the subtrees.
Right.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is of course like very useful. Without this, it would be very hard to do.
Right.
Stuff like
Right.
this.
Right. That's a reminder. I need to implement that for version 2 of Behavior Designer, but we're getting there. So you're in this case you're not like overriding get external behavior tree at all. That method to provide a dynamic tree based off of the current game state.
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
That could be something. I mean, so how far along are you in Darfall? Like, it sounds like you've been working on this for a while.
Yes, but like it started as an, of course, indie hobby project where I wasn't spending full time. But we just started not even a year ago full time.
Okay.
And of course now we are like pushing it also with the Paradox Arc publisher. It's going very strong, and like we still have roughly I cannot say it, but like of course it won't be this year.
Okay.
There is still a lot of work to do, and we have some big announcements coming.
Okay, well that's exciting. So your behavior tree right now, you don't see it as final anything. There's still probably going to be a lot of change. This actually I don't know. I would say I am pretty satisfied with what we have here because it's very easy to edit and it's very easy to add new stuff into this. So I don't think I am going to do any more like big reworks on this anytime soon. Because for now it's like it's meeting all our requirements for the AI. Okay, I mean that's a good segue into my next question is what has been the biggest challenge with creating your enemy AI?
This is a very good question. Like, it isn't that there is something wrong with the behavior designer. It's like learning how to best design all of this.
Right.
So when you have like 10, 15 different AIs and hundreds of units, it just doesn't like break down, right? Like going to this point, it's just basically just self-improvement and because there isn't any like guide, maybe there is like how to connect all of this for like big AI or big projects, right? So I think this was the biggest challenge. There wasn't anything particularly wrong with the behavior designer. Like one of the big pros that it's very stable, and I think I didn't encounter any bugs, and this is like very huge bonus. Like I cannot overestimate it because with other assets, anything we download, there are a lot of bugs, and you just waste a lot of time like
Right.
reporting bugs. This is not working. But here like everything went smooth. So huge thanks for this.
Good. I'm happy to hear that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, we took a risk on the stream and have you come on and just kind of just say all the problems with behavior designer. So I appreciate you saying that you haven't had any issues.
I haven't encountered bugs, but of course there are issues.
Okay.
Yes. Maybe I will suggest some stuff for the behavior designer too, because like this.
Well, that's for the next segment. I was going to say for behavior designer 1. So we released it in early 2020 or 2014, and probably the first year or two, I was really heavily focused on fixing bugs and stuff. So if you got behavior designer after 2016, then or 2017 at the latest, then it was in really good shape since then. So I keep saying that behavior designer is our best asset since it sells well and it requires a low amount of maintenance. So I'm happy with how it's performing, and in general, it has been working really well in a lot of people's different projects. Of course, there are issues and things that you can work on improving, but that's for version 2.
Yeah. But like it's the most heavily used AI asset, I would say, on the store at least, because I have like went over every single possible asset, and this is just the top one.
It became, I think one of the things that really made it popular was when I first released it, I had Playmaker integration, and being able to combine behavior trees with finite state machines made a lot of, especially kind of newer users, okay with trying it out and using it, just because everybody knew a Playmaker, especially back then when there weren't as many assets on the store. And it just kind of made a good intro to having both behavior trees and finite state machines. It's definitely evolved since then, but in some sense it hasn't changed too much. Like I think I tried opening a version 1 tree. So we're on version 1.7 right now or something like that. And I opened a version 1.0 tree. I tried opening it, I think, a couple years ago, and I was able to then, but I don't think you are able to now. But yeah, it's been a good asset. So cool. I'm trying to think. In terms of kind of your behavior tree structure, you're using conditional boards pretty heavily, it looks like. Is that what you kind of started doing initially, or it just kind of came into play as you were adding more and more nodes? I guess my question is, has this always been your structure and you just kind of built on top of it, or did you kind of just play around with different things in the beginning?
By conditions, you mean like the sequence and then checking this?
Yeah, conditional board. So in that one, you have a lower priority conditional board.
Actually, this took me quite a while to figure out, but probably I didn't read documentation enough. Even to this point, I have to really think about difference between both and self and low priority. It still takes a bit of time. But I think this is with any behavior tree conditional boards, because this is something commonly used. But I think I had it from the start, because without this, I don't think an AI could make a dynamic decisions that it's doing something, and then something really urgent pops out, right? I think here is example, right? The eat from storage eating is the highest priority, because if you die, then you cannot attack, right? So eating here is instant, so there isn't any movement or stuff like this, but it's, of course, this is checked every frame.
Right. Okay. Santiago, do you have any questions? I have some more, but it's kind of leading into something else. So
yeah, for me it would be why is some of the parameters is alive, or the ones that you have on the left, your shared variables? I think it was for the player character. No, it was for the enemy character. If you can go in the brain enemy.
Enemy. Okay. Yes.
What are these? For example, can wander, auto heal, aggressive, etc. On there rather than being on the unit itself, like the other properties. For example, the distance for attack, or distance to character? Why are these two separate things?
Mm-hmm. Mm,
Okay, yeah, so why is can wander in the behavior tree as a shared variable versus just checking it like you do with the attack distance in the blueprint?
yes. Yeah, I'm trying to think about it. Uh,
Sorry, I put you on the spot.
I think there was some purpose to this. Like when I'm debugging an AI behavior tree, like you can see like where is this flowing, but I can see the state of the variables here as well. So like it's good to have everything here, but I have just wanted to use this integrated check, basically this bool comparison. So this is was this your question or like?
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Because if it's a question of debugging, it makes sense that certain values that you won't be changing a lot are things that are completely fixed that you don't need to see all the time. And values that you want to be able to debug, that you want to be able to see why is going on, it makes sense to having them in your face, essentially. I think that's something that Justin has worked quite a lot in behavior design too, so it'd be cool to like show the values that you want.
Yeah,
Because
yes.
like the alternative would be that it would be in a component, right? For example,
Yes, exactly.
as a variable. But then I would have to like create my own custom like can wander class, can leash class, can defend self, right? Because I have to check this exact variable. So instead of like having I don't know a lot of these Boolean classes and stuff, I just use the API provided by you. It's just easier to do.
Right.
Yeah, and also the debugging.
Right.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Santiago? Or I have a good question that will lead into the next part.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like
Okay.
it's really impressive stuff, and it's nice to see that behavior designer is being used in games that really take advantage of it fully. That's really cool to see.
Yeah, this wasn't the question I was going to ask, but how many tasks does your behavior tree have when it's all loaded? Do you know? Around?
How many?
How many tasks? Like when all the
Oh, wow.
subtrees are loaded, and your one enemy is running. How many tasks are there?
Let's check this out. It's not an enemy, it's like a hero, but it's almost the same. So if I open this, like yes, this has been a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Like
Yeah.
you can see this huge net.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
like very hard to debug. I don't know what could be the solution for this, but this has been a huge problem with me because if you nest a behavior tree and it like expands
Right.
in runtime, like in editor time, you don't know how it expands, right? So yeah, it's quite a huge web. So then, like what I was doing, I was just clicking this and hiding it. But then I forgot like what is this? So I have to like check. It's this. Yeah, this is like a bit of an UI UX improvement that would be really beneficial for the version 2.
So that was going to be related. So on the forum, you had suggested maybe some like ghost tasks or something like that, where maybe it just showed a preview of it while you're in edit mode. I could be exploring that this week, but the other potential solution that I had would doing some type of auto layout where it would automatically lay out all of your tasks based off of the task structure, and that one could also work, but I'm not sure how well an auto layout would do, because I know some people like to have their own kind of behavior tree structure. All right, looks like I lost everyone. All right, yeah, looks like I lost everyone, so I'm working on getting it back. I'm gonna relaunch Discord.
Here.
Okay, so I think I'm back.
Yes,
Yeah.
There we
you're
go.
back.
Okay.
Technical issues.
Yeah, I just completely dropped out. I'm blaming Discord on that one.
Yeah.
Looks
Is the stream safe?
Yeah, I think the stream was still going, so you'll be able to hear what I said
Hmm?
during that, or if you watch the live video again. Actually,
Yeah.
go ahead and yeah. So I'm not sure. Okay, so you're showing an actual
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
Yes. It's
Some
just a
gameplay.
little fight with orcs. Yes. The miner probably stuck here and wondering like why did I kill all of his friends? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
If I show gizmos, like they all have AI. So like at one time there could be like probably up to 100 units live and executing the behavior trees.
Are you
So that's
executing them in real? Are you executing them like every fixed update or every update, or how are you executing them?
Mhm. Actually, I think to this point I have them every frame
Okay.
because I was trying to check if I do it manually or fixed update if it doesn't speed up anything, but I didn't actually see any performance difference.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, maybe because I have these services that run like every second, nonetheless, right? So like this doesn't really affect anything else. So for now I leave it like every update.
Okay. And even with 100 units, you're getting okay performance with that.
Yes, the behavior designer is definitely not a bottleneck because like there's a lot of stuff going in. It's like rendering, of course, it's pet
Right.
finding, and if it's an AI, it's not that the behavior designer code itself is slow. It's that I am in tasks doing something very expensive, like recalculating path every frame to check if I should destroy wall, right? Um, this is what it's taking majority of time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Well,
that's always good to hear, right?
yeah, I was gonna say that's another good advertisement. Your second check is in the mail. Um, uh, so so I think when the audio was cutting out, or when I got dropped from you guys, I was talking about kind of a potential ways we could uh, show subtrees or show the external behavior trees. And on the forum, you had suggested using kind of ghost tasks where you could kind of see a, a, a kind of a faded out version of the external behavior tree. And that's certainly an option. And then another option would be to have it automatically lay it out the task. The problem with that is that some people like to kind of design their tree structure in a certain way. Although in like your case where it's all completely overlapping like that, you can't even read that. So yeah, I think working out some solution to be able to solve that problem would be kind of a nice feature.
Mm-hmm. Like what other assets I have checked are doing that they keep the behavior subtrees nested so they don't expand.
Yeah.
They are always in their own little folder. So we have like one-to-one between editor and play mode, right? And if you want to see like what's inside, you just click there and then go back. Right?
So we actually had that I had that in one of the early versions of Behavior Designer. Then I got requests for it to expand out, and then I never I guess everything that I saw from all the support requests from everything, all the trees were always expanded, and so then I just kind of just removed the old code since the old code was kind of it added a decent amount of overhead in order to keep both. But maybe yeah. Then now I mean the architecture for version 2 is completely different than version 1. So having maybe it makes more sense where there could be I guess there are kind of 3 different options where you don't expand it at all, just leave it as it is in edit mode. Then there's the auto layout, and then there's the kind of the ghost method. The ghost method would auto expand, but it would also show you a preview. That would work, except it would work for a lot of use cases, except for the use case where you load the subtree dynamically at runtime, and then in that case, it doesn't know what subtree you're going to be loading. But yeah, probably later this week I'll be able to start tackling that problem and seeing what happens there.
But actually, the auto layouting would be pretty neat. Like this could be a toggle whether you auto layout or don't, and anybody could like check it.
Oh, it definitely
Yeah, because like seeing all of this in a big picture and not having to, go inside the folder and see what's running there and then go back. This is like very advantageous. But yes, this if this could be somehow resolved with the auto load, it would be amazing.
Right. So that's a good question. What is the number one thing that you want resolved in version 2? Is it auto layout, or is it this, or what is it? Wait, before you answer, I'm not saying I'm definitely going to be able to get it in. I'm just asking the question.
I will name 2 things.
I said 1, not 2.
So number 1, I think like we had huge issues at the beginning where we created an action, put it into the as nodes into the behavior trees, and we in code rename the action because like we needed to update it or change the namespace, and then the hell broke loose because like everything broke. If there I think this is, at least for me, the number 1 request is to be able to refactor either variables or namespaces and classes, rename them and not break the references, because like for big projects like this, like there's a lot of refactoring, a lot of running around. And if we have an existing behavior that like hundreds of AI and units depend on, and we break something, it's almost impossible to fix, right? And find out the issues. Right. So this, I think, would be number 1.
So right now, the way that the proper and a relatively painless way to solve that is to have, I guess you would have already needed to, but to have your behavior tree in JSON format, and then you can just open it like any text file where you could then open and rename it. But I say that, and version 2, as of this point, I don't have the JSON serialization, deserialization. We're using the same serialization system that we use for the character controller, and that is completely binary. Ideally, I would like to switch to Unity serialization, but I think it's like abstract templated abstract templated variables, it's not able to serialize, and so that just makes it an issue with shared variables. So ideally we would use their serialization, but because we can't right now, that's pretty much the only reason why we're doing our own. Yeah, having more of a way to easily refactor, especially since it will only be binary for a while, will be necessary, I think. I don't have that in. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I will be able to get it in before we release, but it's definitely something that I plan on addressing, since that is a pretty common topic that I see on the forum, or relatively common, I guess.
Yeah. In terms of Unity, they do have a thing. I think it's .NET in general. This thing to move from, exactly. This one.
This one, yeah. It's not that you have to use the Unity serialization, because like you can read this attribute from your serialization and then just replace. Right. So if you like in the JSON or in binary, you don't find something under this namespace, full namespace, you just check if it hasn't been added from this move from, and this could be solved. Okay. Actually, and another like pattern I have seen using, I think I have seen it using by the Unity, official Unity code somewhere, is to use the GUID. So you basically place a GUID here that never changes, and you serialize this class, the instance of the class in behavior, only by the GUID. You ignore the name. Right. So then the user can rename or move it or whatever. This always stays the same. Right. Yeah. Right. It's a bit long to set up because you have to get the GUID and place it here. But once it's set up, like for our projects, it's like advantageous for us to do it like once, and then we know it's like it doesn't break ever, right?
My question, my question with that is, instead of having to yourself define the GUID as an attribute on top of your class, couldn't we just get the GUID of the meta file linked to that script?
The problem,
every script has
I mean,
a file.
not every class is going to have a GUID associated with it, where you'd have to have it in its own file. You can have multiple. You can have multiple classes within the same file, for example, and then you would just have one there.
Yeah, because we can't just force it. Because, for example, for Unity, they enforce mono behavior and scriptable objects to be inside their own files with the same name, exactly for that reason, right? To have a GUID, so even if you rename it, you can get it.
Right.
So I guess
it's editor only, actually.
Yeah. So it would be either we enforce it or we go with that attribute, I guess.
Yeah, actually, I mean, I think it was probably about a year ago. A user wrote a review on Behavior Designer. I don't remember what star rating, but one of the things they were complaining about was that they can't have multiple tasks within the same file. I'm like, yes, you can. So I think it was an inaccurate review, but that just reminded me of a potential review that we could get because of that is because you can't have multiple tasks in the same file. But I think in general, I think the move from that would actually be a good solution, because that's shared code between the character controller and Behavior Designer now. So then, and inventory. So then if we just implement that in the serialization, then it would work for all assets. So yeah, no, that would be a good solution. And I don't think it would be that hard to implement either. So I will commit to saying I'm going to look into supporting move from in version 2, the initial release.
Nice. Yes.
Make a note, don't forget.
Yeah. Right. Write down the time of this video. So yeah, okay. And then you said that there were two things. What's the second thing?
The second thing are the groups that we can create a group for this. This is just tidying stuff up. It's
that's done. Yeah, I can 100% say that one's going to be in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I would say.
Okay. Well, good. I mean, in general, that doesn't sound too bad. Have you seen any of my posts on Behavior Designer 2? Do you want to get to that part, and I can show it off and kind of
let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. I have seen some previews, but it's better explained by you.
Right. Let's see. Which one do I have? Let's see. Behavior Designer 2. All right. So I think you should be able to see it now.
Yep.
Actually,
we on Discord see it.
Yeah. Actually, I don't see it now on my computer, so I got to switch to it. All right. So do you still see it right now?
Yep.
Okay. So here is version 2. Let's see, just to kind of show what I had talked about. See, we have this new create group, and there we go. So we do have the grouping functionality now. Let me go ahead and delete that.
Justin, I think we can see your Unity window, but we can't see any pop-up windows.
Yeah.
Then try sharing your entire screen rather than just the Unity window.
Wait, you can see. Wait, let me just stop, and I'll share the entire window on the other screen now that I have the monitor up. One day we're going to figure all this out.
One day.
Yeah, it's not this episode. All right. So you should be able to see it now. Again?
No, still not.
No.
We can see your Unity editor when. Yeah.
The windows that pop up because it's like new instance or something.
Hold on, I'm getting it cut out. So wait, you see the editor screen, but you don't see. I'm completely.
So you see the scene window, the game window, the project window, but we can't see
Oh, you
anything
can't see
is
the
not docked.
editor. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a problem.
So when you press share your screen,
Yeah.
there's three options: applications, screens, or capture
Oh, there
devices.
you go. Oh, screens. Okay, there we go. Okay. Let's try this. Any better?
No,
No?
still not.
I'm sharing the entire screen. Share your screen. We're doing screens. Screen 2. Yes. All right. Go live. So on my little preview, I see it. I see the entire screen. Do you know?
Okay.
No. It's
I see
doesn't do.
I see your Unity project, but I don't see can you open Behavior Designer?
Oh, yeah.
Or-
It's not open right now. Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's what I was missing. Okay,
Oh,
sorry, my
okay.
bad.
Okay. There we go. Now do you see it?
Nice.
Ah,
Yes,
okay. That
yes.
was it. Okay. I can handle that.
Nice.
Wait. Let's see. There we go. Okay. But now Discord is pausing to optimize playback
It's
whenever I switch.
it's only for you. We see it.
Yeah, but I'm streaming from
The
it.
str-
So actually, let me just switch. There we go. Okay, now I think we should both be good. Yeah, one of these days we're gonna get it. Okay. So here's Behavior Designer. Let's see here's the group. Looks like I'm getting an error with that group, but yeah. So you can you will be able to support groups. I guess I haven't done a group in a while. But yeah. So we have grouping functionality. And then what I've I've just completely tanked Behavior Designer right now. Let's go ahead and start this over. One of the new things that I've just added this past week is adding different variable scopes. So we have in version 1, we have just kind of the local graph variables, and then we have the global variables. Now we have graph, game object, scene, and project. So let me go ahead and click on one of my unit tests. And I think this one, we have a separate component called game object shared variables, and we have one shared variable right here, and then you can specify it right here as well. So these variables are specific to the graph, where they change based on the behavior tree that you have selected, and then the other one is specific to this game object. So we have shared variables and variable specific right here. And then we have a set of shared variables that's in the scene. And so then that's this component right here. And then we have shared variables on the project level. And that's a separate scriptable asset. Wherever that has to be in the resources file. So yeah, I'm getting some errors, but yeah, I'll get those fixed. So yeah, we can now have different variable scopes compared to version 1, which was just kind of 2 scopes in some sense. And that should allow for more flexibility just in terms of how you get your variables and allow you to share across behavior trees a lot easier. Let's see, if I click on a task and I go to the variable, you can now see that you can select it from whatever scope you're interested in. So I'm not sure if that would be completely useful with you in Darfall, but it could be useful just kind of depending on the situation.
Yeah. Does changing the name skip the reference?
Yes.
Okay.
Or at least it should. Let's go ahead and test it out. Let's see, graph int, then I'll change the name, and graph int. Yep, so there we go. And
Nice.
I think that works in version 1 as well. At least it should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So yes, it does. And yeah, I got some layout issues and all that type of stuff. But yeah, I've just sort of been starting to polish the editor a little bit. But yeah, so that I think will be a pretty useful feature in terms of kind of the new shared variable stuff. I haven't added dynamic variables yet, but I still plan on adding them. In version 1, you can also do property binding, and that is still supported in version 2. We have a little bit kind of expanded option for this, the drop down, instead of it just being a little menu option that you expand. Now we have this fancy filter view. Oh, I guess that isn't completely working. But yeah, so this was an issue, and yeah, this is an issue because this is a pop-up, but instead of just showing the direct pop-up, I want to show, like, instead of showing the pop-up value that it's showing right here, I want to instead show this filter window, so I have to smartly replace this pop-up value. And I thought I had this fixed, but it doesn't look like it did. So yeah, I guess it's good to kind of go through these issues and show it live so that you get these issues.
You're using UI elements, right?
Yes, that is a change in version 2. Everything is completely UI elements. Everything is completely dot-spaced as well. Well, I guess this task is not, since it's this shared variable task. You will not be able to share variables in a dots task, because dots is completely object-oriented, and it is not object-oriented, it's data-oriented, and shared variables are classes, and it does not work with classes. So if you want to use shared variables, you're going to have to do a regular task. I'm thinking of actually having kind of alternates where right now, so this wait task right now is a dots task, which is this duration is the one that I exposed. The index, parent index, and sibling, these are all debug variables, but duration is what will eventually be exposed. I'm thinking of having both a mono task and a dots task for wait, for example, just because you may want to use a shared variable to change the waiting distance or waiting time, for example. It would be nice to be able to support shared variables within dots task, but that just completely goes against the structure of dots. So we'll do what we can there. I'm not sure if you saw, Lucas, but the dots task is a bit more involved as well. Let me show you what wait looks like. So yeah, this right here, this part is the structure for the dots task. This is what's actually shown in the editor, and then from that you create the actual dots object, which is this component right here, and then the system is what will run this component. So dots tasks are definitely more involved compared to just the standard the standard non-dots task, which is what you're used to in Behavior Designer 1. Let's see, here's what the log task, and yeah, the log task is exactly what you would expect, whereas the wait task has a lot more to it just because it's using dots, but you then get that huge performance benefit of using dots.
Can you use regular task, or you only have to adhere to the dots?
No, you can definitely use regular. So this, let's see, I think I have a set of behavior or of unit tests called mono. Yeah, mono. So in this case, these are using regular tasks, and actually it opens up the use case for Behavior Designer 2 a bit more, in that, so this mono return success, this is a regular non-dots task. Mono return success. Yeah, so this is a non-dots task, basically as simple as you can get. But it can be stacked like this. So in Behavior Designer 1, actually that's one thing that you may consider using are stacked action and stacked conditional tasks. That is definitely a concept in version 1, where instead of having this huge horizontal layout of tasks, you can have multiple tasks kind of grouped within the same structure. So let me click on this plus button, and so now we have these 2 tasks that will run in sequence, for example, and that just kind of reduces the verbosity of your tree and makes it a little bit easier to comprehend, depending on what the situation is. So that exists in version 1, and then yeah, these mono tasks by default will appear in these set tasks, like the stack task, allowing you to run multiple tasks at the same time. So yeah, it makes that part easier in some sense, and then kind of easier to kind of see the structure of the tree. Yeah. So that the past week or since the last show, I had worked on adding these different scopes of variables, and then also now in version 2, instead of it being called external behavior trees, we're now called subtrees. And I'm getting an error related to that. I had actually just added something related to this morning. So that's probably why we're getting the error. But yeah, subtrees are exactly what you would expect, and you can then kind of create your nodes directly from there. And it's how you would think of the existing external behavior trees. I'm not planning on doing too much to subtrees in terms of changing their functionality at all. Just in planning on seeing what I can do to have the subtree reference task show them a bit better, which we had talked about earlier. But
Actually, one of the things with passing variables into the subtree
Yeah.
was it that I think the value you want to set is a string, but the value you are using to set it by is can be a reference to variable. So what was happening that we were setting a lot of the subtrees, we had to use the string, but when we renamed the subtree variable, it broke, right? So if somehow we could detect that, okay, so this is only these variables we can set, and it keeps the reference,
Right.
this would be amazing, like a huge time saver.
Yeah, so on what I was planning on doing or seeing if I could do would be to have more of a better editor for those nested subtree variables, because right now the editor, like you said, is pretty terrible. It's very bare bones, and it's functional, but it's not as nice as it could be. So yeah, that is something that I plan on looking into. But I actually was planning on doing that today or tomorrow. Just because right now no subtrees are inherited at all, or no variables are inherited at all in version 2. But that obviously can't stay that way. So yeah. But in general, yeah, the subtrees are going to stay the same from a functional standpoint, from a editor standpoint. Yeah, it could definitely make some improvements. So yeah, that's pretty much then my status update on Behavior Designer 2. And Lucas, do you have any questions as a Behavior Designer 1 that we haven't, or Behavior Designer 1 user that we haven't already covered on version 2?
Actually, I didn't know about these stacked actions, so I will definitely
Okay,
look
yeah.
into this. Yeah, no idea it was
Yeah.
possible. So this was,
Yeah.
this may be a lifesaver for us.
Yeah.
So if anybody else didn't try it, then
Yeah.
this is a
Actually,
huge
let
deal.
me see if I can bring up a version 1 or a version, version 1 of Behavior Designer, just to show you real quick what they are. It was added, I'm not sure, it was in maybe 1.5 or maybe 1.6, version 1.6 of Behavior Designer, these stacked actions or stacked conditionals. But they are nice in that they allow you to just group an entire set of actions or conditionals. And actually what makes them even better is with conditional aborts, it will reevaluate the entire stack of conditional tasks at the same time, which will make it easier instead of having to kind of, I know some cases you want like this task or this task should return, but not this task. And like it makes certain situations easier to handle by just kind of grouping it all within one task. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm getting this, I'm opening it up to try to show, but I don't know what Unity's doing, but it's taking 52 seconds to import some new assets that I don't think I changed in version 1.
It's Unity. It was a random generator for long progress bars.
Yeah, and version 1, I don't even have that complicated of art assets. But okay, let's see. So I got sent a question from Sarah saying, somebody asked in the chat, I'm not looking at the chat, so I don't know who it is, but when I input some other language like Chinese, the text input element has a bug for me. The input method sometimes disappears. It's annoying working in Windows. Okay, yeah, I'll look at that. I think we already have it working in version 2 since we're using UI elements, but I know IM GUI can be iffy. I'm for Yeah, for Behavior Designer 1, it's completely IM GUI, and so I'm not sure how their text handling is for other languages, but I'm assuming it would have worked, but I guess that was a bad assumption. So yeah, I'll look to see what that takes. But yeah, so back to the stacked tasks. Let me go ahead and add a behavior tree. So yeah, in version 1, you can do stacked. So here's a stacked action. And it's very similar to version 2, but yeah, so you can kind of just group these set of actions in a list, and then in this case it will run it in a sequence or a selector. So it makes that part very convenient. And yeah, maybe you could use it in Darfall.
Yeah, I'm trying it now, but it's not working for some reason.
That
I,
you're getting an
but
error, or
I am on Macintosh. I don't get an error. I'm just going into actions, adding plus, and then like when I pick something, it doesn't do anything.
okay. Well,
I will
I
try to restart
yeah,
Unity.
I haven't gotten any bug reports with that, but you were talking about how bug-free Behavior Designer was at the start. Well, here we go, I guess. But yeah, no, that it should work. I haven't gotten any bug reports on that, but maybe another class. Are you getting any errors? I mean, we'll debug this offline. We'll get it working. So yeah, it makes it a pretty convenient. Oh, make sure you are running the latest version of Behavior Designer, since their newer Unity versions cause issues. So if you're not running the latest, there was something related to that. Because I noticed
Okay.
you are running, I think 2022.3 or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, it was in that version that Unity changed something, and I had to update. So yeah, it could be related to that. But yeah,
So that's
so make sure you're running the latest, and then hopefully that will already be solved. So
nice.
so yeah, okay. Well cool. Then getting away from the behavior designer topic, the only other kind of work in progress thing that I wanted to quickly share is that with Omni Animation, we are doing a new animation drop. And in this animation drop, we have a bunch of new ladder and dual pistol animations. So we will get that drop released probably tomorrow or today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow. We have to finish working on editing the video, but I know like the Mixamo ladder animations, for example, do not look very good, and now we have some good looking ladder animations that will make these type of movements a lot better. So yeah, that's kind of the one update that I wanted to share related to Omni Animation. But yeah, so I think that was pretty much all that I wanted to discuss. Do you guys have anything else? Or are there any questions? I'm not looking at the chat. Maybe any questions for Lucas?
I haven't checked out these Omni animations, but
Okay.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
looking good.
It's getting there.
Is it?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just it's like a library of animations, so you can add to
It,
humanoid, or
It's a library of animations, and then we're working on expanding it to a lot more than that, where we're using AI to generate animation. We have a text animation thing, and then we're currently working on some new features that we haven't quite released yet, but it will be great for people who have existing animations and want to kind of improve upon them with their existing styles or anything related to that. So yeah, Omni is our little major side project.
do you also support auto-rigging, where you put the model and it auto-rigs and adds bones?
So that is supported through actually an integration that we will be announcing in 2 weeks. We haven't made that announcement yet, but yes, we will be having a solution for that within Omni Animation.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So yeah. Well, yeah, that's actually a good question for you. Where are you getting your animations? Do you guys make them, or what do you
Yes,
do?
with the simple voxel style, we
Oh yeah,
currently
right.
just
Yeah.
we do manual animations, and
Okay.
it's just cubes or just weapons levitating.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keeping it minimal. Okay. All right. Well, I think that was pretty much it. Thank you, Lucas, for coming on here. If anybody has any other questions, get them in now because we have probably less than a minute left. But Santiago, was there anything else you wanted say, or Lucas?
Just wanted to thank Lucas for coming here on the show and showing his game. It's really cool. We saw a little bit of gameplay, and I can say that it looks really, really fun. So
Yeah, we'll include a link to Darfall in the description. So go ahead and wishlist it on Steam, and I guess it will come out sometime next year.
To be announced.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Well, well, we'll have to have you back on again after you get it released, and we'll see how your behavior tree has evolved since then.
With stacked actions.
With stacked actions, with working stacked actions, yes.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for having me. It was it was a blast.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, until next time.